Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the pre-ACT. I'm Mr. Hamilton, one of the college prep teachers here at DeSoto High School. I teach AP Language, AP Research, and AP Seminar, and I'm super excited to show you what the pre-ACT is all about and give you a hint about what it can do for you and how it's going to impact you moving forward. So freshmen and sophomores take the pre-ACT typically in October in the fall, and that assessment is going to be kind of the baseline. Sophomores and juniors can take the PSAT. That's an optional one that students take typically in October, and it gives you some more data. And then juniors and seniors typically take the ACT, which is a college entrance exam, and also gives you some feedback on where you're really strong and where you could use a little bit more work. So why take the pre-ACT? It provides a practice opportunity for the ACT and other time tests. This is a really easy, light, low risk, low stress way for you to get a little bit of testing under your belt. It identifies your current academic readiness for college and career. It gives you kind of an idea of, as a freshman or sophomore, whether you're on the right path or what you need to do to get on the right path when it comes to your goals. It predicts how you'll perform on the actual ACT. It not only gives you a score on the pre-ACT itself, but it gives you a score range of what they think you're going to get on the ACT, and you can use that information to get even better before you take it. It determines skills you can improve based on your performance, and it explores how your career aspirations align with your interests and skills. Kind of gives you an indication if you're on track to do what it is that you hope to do when you grow up. So on the pre-ACT, we've got 4 different categories. The English tests your writing skills, and it's kind of a peer editing simulation. It gives you mock student essays, and it asks you if parts of it are correct or what would make them correct. The mathematics covers all the math you've been learning in class. It gives you some space to figure out problems, and you can use a calculator. The reading has multiple sets of passages of different types, so you might see some fiction, you might see something like what you would read in a history class, and everything in between, and you have some sets of questions assessing your reading skills. And then the science tests ask you to think like a scientist, ask you to read through experiments, interpret scientific data, and read passages about science. So this is a look at the English test. You could see the mystery paper sculptor on the left here, and it's just an essay like you might write for a class, and they've underlined various portions of it, and you could see that on the right-hand side, they're asking you questions about what would be best to make this paper even better, or like number 3, they're asking you which word would be the best. There's grammar, there's punctuation, and there's bigger picture editing like organization, things like that. And it essentially tests whether or not you're able to do English mechanics really well. The mathematics test, you can see here it's a mix of word problems and straight up calculations like number 3. You've got 5 answer options, some space to do some figuring, and it's multiple choice, so you've always got a shot. The reading, you could see here we've got a longer passage. This is kind of typical. They might be a little bit shorter than this on the pre-ACT, and then it's going to have a handful of questions afterwards that's going to ask you about what the characters were doing or what the author was talking about, what the purpose was, ask you to infer certain things, all the things you would think of on a reading test. The science test, which is your final leg of your journey here, is going to have some charts and graphs. It's going to have maybe some tables with some numbers in them, and it's going to ask you to deduct something. In this case, they're experimenting on different kind of foods for insects, and you have to figure out which foods would be best to feed these insects. And it has a number of questions where you're essentially interpreting things. So some basic tips. It is okay if you don't know an answer, just do your best. There will be some questions on this that you don't know. That's okay. Try to guess on everything you don't know, though. Don't leave any answers blank. And pay attention to the time. Students struggle to get done sometimes. We're not very used to timed settings. And on the reading and science especially, it can be a little bit tough if you're not very focused. And so do your best to try to keep at it and get as many done as you possibly can. On test day, you want to bring some sharpened number 2 pencils. This is a good old-fashioned bubble test, so you're going to have to fill in bubbles on a sheet, and the bubble sheet is only able to be read if it's written on with number 2 pencils. You want to watch to pace yourself. You're not going to be able to use phones, but if you happen to have a watch handy, that might be useful so you can keep track of time. And of course, you're going to need a calculator for that math test so that you're prepared. So coming up, you're going to have an IPS day in a few weeks where you're going to set up for the test. You're going to fill out some information like your name and some of your identification information into a bubble sheet. And that bubble sheet will also be where you put your answers on the actual test day. And then you'll take the test in the morning of your Future Ready Day that's coming up later this month. And it will be an opportunity for you to show what you're capable of and where you are as far as your skills. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a great day and good luck on your test.